Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to Train Tuesday. I'm your host, Jim Wiggin with Athearn, and so glad to have you on board. Hope you guys are enjoying your summer. And again, we're going to be doing these pre-recorded videos until October. A lot of you are probably in Michigan enjoying the NMRA. And believe it or not, we're going to have an RPM coming up soon in St. Louis. Now, unfortunately, Athearn is not going to be there this year, but we hope to be back next year. Now, we are going to be talking on this episode about some Athearn models in HO scale. But before we get started, if you like the content that you see delivered on a weekly basis, please do us a favor and like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you're notified every time a new video like this drops into our channel. Go ahead and comment as well. I try to answer as many of those comments as possible, and we do enjoy the interaction. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with another episode of Train Goodness. So as you can see from the title of the video, we're going to be talking about the Athearn HO scale 4-bay hoppers. Now, this was originally announced back in November of 2023, and we tried to introduce some roads and eras that fit a pretty wide spectrum of modelers. Now, we're offering these as both a single, so even if your layout is rather small and it only has a use for a few of these types of cars, you have that option. However, if you're blessed with a giant basement empire or maybe a club layout and you want unit trains of these, it's easily done because we're offering two different multi-packs of 4. So let's go ahead and show you these cars in detail. We're going to start with 1950 era Santa Fe. Now the singles are all going to be on your screen so you can see the actual car. The multi-packs are just like what you see on your screen, just with different road numbers. Now I've listed the different road numbers in each multi-pack. You can see that just above the car. If you'd like some more verification on that, you can always select the links in the video description below. One link will send you to the original announcement, while another one will send you right to Athearn.com, and will also let you know the stock availability of each model. Now, these Santa Fe cars for 1950 on are perfect for you transition era modelers. So if you're a steam guy or an early diesel guy, these will work out great on your layout. Again, available as a single as well as 2 4-car sets. 1947 era Baltimore and Ohio for you East Coast guys. Again, as a single, as you see on your screen presently, as well as the multi-pack. Now, keep in mind, too, that when we say 47, that doesn't mean you just model 1947. It's a general starting date. So 1947 into the 50s. And if you want to progress further than that, depending on what era you model, you may be able to fit these cars into your roster by adding specific decals for your era. Also, don't forget, sometimes these would end up as maintenance away cars in later years of their lives. So it's another thing for you guys that are modeling a different era. Getting a little bit newer, 1962 era Canadian National. We never want to forget our Canadian friends out there. So we offer the Canadian National in both the single that you see here, as well as the 4-car sets. And not to be outdone, we have 1963 era CP Rail. These Canadian Pacific cars will feature the multi-mark as you see there. And of course, don't forget, all of those road numbers are non-duplicating. So you can pick these up, run your unit trains without having to worry about duplicating road numbers. 1960 era Illinois Central. These main line of the Mid-America cars are really cool. I actually see one of these very similar, not too far from me, at the Monticello Railway Museum. These cars are going to be offered, of course, as a single as well as 2-car sets. And something else to keep in mind, these do have removable coal loads. There's simulated coal loads. So if you're into operations and you want to put that into your operation repertoire, you certainly can. 1965 era Milwaukee Road. We've been getting a lot of requests for Milwaukee Road, so we wanted to offer these cars for you as well. And I mean, let's face it, if your layout is big enough, wouldn't it be cool to have these spotted beside Illinois Light and Power? I certainly think so. And one that we got a lot of requests for, and that's data only. Now, this car is obviously being offered only as a single, as you see here. There are no multi-car sets of these. However, these are the perfect cars for the person that's modeling a road that maybe we didn't offer in this run, or maybe you're a freelancer. If you've got your own freelance railroad, this definitely gives you a chance to add your own decals and make it your own. Now, these cars are going to be in stock soon. In fact, probably by the time you're watching this video, they may already be in stock. In fact, if you pre-ordered these, you may have already gotten an email or a phone call from your dealer letting you know that they're on their way. If not, if any of these cars appeal to you, then you might want to get on the phone or email your dealer now to get those in, because they probably will sell out rather quickly once they are in stock. Now let's talk a little bit about the features of these models. These are Athearn HO. So again, they're not going to have the detail that Genesis has. However, these are the perfect types of cars to take to Fremo meets or operating sessions, or just on your layout if you need something that has just enough detail to satisfy your needs and let you model the era and the time that you're willing to model. So these are really nice cars. And they come with some great details to them as well. So let's talk about that. Of course, there's a removable load that I was telling you about. There's a simulated coal load, and that's true on both the singles as well as the multi-packs. They are going to come standard from the factory with the McHenry scale knuckle couplers. Of course, a lot of folks like to switch those out with their preferred brand. These are pretty easy to do that. And if you go to our website at athearn.com and look up the item numbers for any of these cars, you'll see an exploded view for this car to kind of give you an idea on how to switch out those couplers if you desire to. They do come also with metal wheel sets straight from the factory with the RP25 contour. So what that means is it's going to work on a variety of manufacturers' track without any issues. They are weighted for optimum performance. However, if you want to get them up to NMRA standards, you are going to have to add a little bit of weight. However, out of the package, they are a great compromise. Now, the minimum radius on these cars is 18 inches. So it doesn't matter if you've got a small shelf layout like myself, or even a 4x8 layout, or if you're one of those folks that's blessed with a basement empire or a large club layout. These cars will do well with that as well. So there you have it. Now, these cars are going to be available soon. We're hoping within the next week or so, they're going to start shipping to your Athearn dealers. So, like I said, if you've already pre-ordered one of these, you've probably already been in touch with your Athearn dealer. They've probably gotten in touch with you. If not, and you're looking at these and thought, man, maybe I should have pre-ordered, now's the time to contact your dealer because they will sell out quick. We've offered these as multi-packs in the past, and they've done relatively well. So with that being said, I've got a few behind me. Let's go ahead and operate a few of these 4-bay hoppers. All right, before we go ahead and operate, I want to show you these cars in detail a little bit. We're using our CP rail here as an example. Now, when you remove the coal loads, of course, you still have some nice detail in here for these Athearn cars. Really nice detail, really nice paint on these. You can see the paint is really crisp. You can read that under magnification. Of course, you are going to get those metal wheel sets, as you can see here. And they are going to come standard with the McHenry couplers. Now, for most folks, those McHenry couplers are just fine. However, a lot of guys that are into operations, they do like certain brands of couplers. Now, as I turn this car over, not too hard, you're going to have to remove the truck, and there is a screw here in the coupler draft box that will need to be removed. And that should be easy to adapt to the coupler of your choice. Depending on the manufacturer's brand that you use, there may be some slight modification necessary, but relatively easy to do. Now, if you want to see that in detail in an exploded view, simply go to the links in the video description below and It'll take you to Athearn.com, and you can select any one of those cars, and there's an exploded view of this car available for you to download. It's a PDF download. It also comes in handy for if maybe you lost the brake wheel or something happened. I mean, we've all been there. We're in Fremo or something of that nature, and we're transporting our trains and our rolling stock, and something happens, we lose something. If that's the case, you can still go back to Athearn.com, look up the item number of your car, go to the product page, and open up that PDF for the exploded view, and get in touch with us at Athearn help at horizonhobby.com, and we can help you out with those parts. Now, one thing I do want you all to bear in mind, we keep enough parts available for service and warranty situations. We're not a parts selling service. If there's optional parts that you want to purchase, there are other companies for that, but we pretty much stock just for service and warranty situations only. So with that being said, quick overview of this car. Let's go ahead and see how they look in service. All right, we are back today. I've got an Athearn Genesis one from a couple of releases ago. This is the Athearn Genesis Main Central GP7, number 563. Probably one of my personal favorites. And we've got two loaded cars that we're going to switch out for two empties. So even if you've got a small shelf layout, maybe you've got a customer, depending on what area you're modeling, that they still need a car or two of coal in this case. Let's go ahead and get started with our switching of these cars out. You can see in this kind of overhead shot, I've got the full cars here. And since I'm just a shelf switching layout, I don't have the multi-packs. I just went ahead and grabbed the singles. Reach in there and couple those two up. You can see the ones that I'm pulling away, I've taken the coal loads out just for operational interest. And the ones that we're going to be dropping off will have the coal loads installed. So we've got the CP rail there. We've got the data only one. Again, if you're a freelance modeler, you're probably going to want to pick up the data only cars. Now we're going to go in and uncouple these. And time to spot them on our industry spur. Now, for those that are wondering, the track here is code 70. So as you can see, the wheel sets are having zero issues navigating code 70. Most folks will probably be using code 83, maybe a few out there with code 100. You won't have any issues with that either. Now, if you're interested on the main central, we offered these a couple of years ago. They just got delivered last spring, so spring of 2024. Maybe kind of hard to find. We did 2 in the pine green and 1 in the harvest yellow that you see here. I pre-ordered my 563 because that particular locomotive means a lot to me. And I'm glad I did, because that was the first one to sell out. You might be able to find the pine green ones that we did, but it was a release that went really quickly. All right, apologize. It's kind of hard to do that on camera. All right, we're going to go ahead and pull forward. Pick up our empties. Let's see, since we're doing Main Central, I guess we're going to have to go back to Waterville. All right, so that's what I've got for you today. These 4-bay, these 4-bay hoppers are going to be available at your hobby dealer probably by the beginning of next week, maybe in the middle of the week. It's kind of hard to say, but we are going to be getting these in. Also, I did want to let everybody know too, you may have noticed on our social media some blasts from the past. Because of everything that's been going on this past year, it's kind of hard to keep up with all the new announcements. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to offer some items that you may have missed from October, November, and December. There's a lot of good freight cars in there in both HO and N scale, and there's some great locomotives that you may have missed. I mean, let's face it, that time of year is really busy with all the holidays. And if you missed it, well, here's your chance to get your pre-orders in now. So when you go to the dealer to pick up these cars or anything else we've talked about in the last few Train Tuesdays, talk to your dealer about those open pre-orders from October through December. Now, it is a limited time, so you only have until Friday, July 25th, but go ahead and take a look. You can go on Athearn.com and go through the news archives and look at the months of October through December, and everything there is open for pre-order until July 25th. That is all I've got for you on this Train Tuesday. I want everybody out there to be happy, be healthy, be safe, do some good modeling, and above all, high greens. Take care, everyone.